Hello.
Good morning, ma'am. Hello.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, clear and louder.
Clear and louder. Thanks for confirming. Even I can see you, I can hear you clearly. Right. So, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I have just finished my session with my students. Right now, I'm here to have conversation. As I promised in our last video that I'm going to have conversation with you again.
Conversation. Yes. Right. So, this is a
Yeah.
speaking platform where we focus on conversation, not just engaging in conversation so that people benefit from it. And
Yes.
let's make it quite productive. Right. And as you know,
Yeah.
speaking is not the only way that helps with language skills. But there are other aspects also. Right. So, how have you been? How's life treating you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was really well, ma'am, because day before yesterday, I celebrated third foundation day of my class. It
Wow, that's
was
great.
really amazing.
Mhm. So,
I
what was the
enjoyed a lot.
celebration about? How did you celebrate?
Yeah, I conducted a speech competition among my students. There were two judges. They gave their results. Some of them won. Some of them lost. That is
Okay.
how after speech competition we cut the cake. We danced. We enjoyed a lot.
Wow, great. So,
Actually,
participation is important. Participation
yeah,
is
absolutely.
important. Yeah. Yes.
So as in our last video, I told you I didn't wanted to be a trainer. I am
You
just
didn't
like
want to be a
accidental.
trainer. You didn't want
Yeah,
to be
I'm
a
just
trainer. Okay.
yeah. This was
Okay.
not my profession. I wanted to learn English to get a better job. I
Okay.
wanted to get respected in my locality. I didn't even
Okay.
know. I just wanted to. Probably I wanted to get a better job. That is how I
Okay.
started my journey. But when I started my journey, I got interest in this language.
Oh, you
I
became
started
interested in the
getting
language. Okay.
yeah, I started getting better day by day. It has become my habit.
Okay.
I love to talk to people. People like
Okay.
you, people like some others. I enjoy having conversation with all of them.
That's great. That's good. So, as you know, it's not just English, but something that I see today is that people engage in conversation for fame. I'm talking about the mega agenda that people have. They think just by conversing in English, they can gain fame. So, it's not about that. It's about how you communicate effectively with
Yes.
people, whether it's mother tongue or English. English is gaining fame because it's a global language. But I think
Yeah.
we need to give importance to mindset and communication, whether it's the native
Yes.
language, because people are simply losing track of the words, the way they behave, the courtesy factors, and such kind of things. So you are a trainer, you are a teacher guiding people, guiding children. So it's important to leave something for the next generation, not only as
Absolutely.
teachers, but as elders. So that's what I think. That's my perception of education and learning. It's not just English because wrong thoughts are being circulated these days, as you can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Toxicity
That
of
is
wrong
why
methods of
that is
learning.
why I'm your fan, ma'am. That is why I'm your fan. You always raise fact in your videos. I really like your videos, man. Whenever you upload
Thanks
your
for that.
videos, I love to watch them. I'm your subscriber as well. So,
Thanks. You told me that
ma'am,
earlier. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am, actually, today in our last video, I forgot to ask. I just want to know about your journey. How did you
Okay.
start? How did you get into this? Did you get insulted, frustrated? Or is this is the language that you had environment when you were surrounded by your family members, something like that?
Mhm. I have already elaborated on this journey, both my learning journey, that is my journey with the language, and also about my writing journey through my YouTube channel. And many people connect with me just because of that video. That is also one video that attracts attention. That's what I understand from the emails and the feedback. But I can just give you a briefing because we don't expose much of the personal details.
Yes.
I'll put it in a nutshell. Let me encapsulate the whole thing. Journey is something that's still going on. It's ongoing. I cannot say that I'm a complete learner, but I know that I have passion. I'm dedicated because from the authorities, from the feedback of educators who are better than me. Okay. So I've worked with people from other parts of the world, like New Zealand and educators in India. So most of them give feedback when it comes to your teaching and learning methods and methodology. So they say you're dedicated compared to the other teachers. So that's because partly it's because of the environment that I didn't have. Of course, I was not born and brought up in India, but that did not give me enough environment to speak in English because I had my students, my colleagues or maybe my classmates, my teachers speaking in good English. And in those days, teachers were not very approachable. At least 70% of the teachers were not approachable. It's not like how it is today. So to even ask the meaning of a word, to tell that I'm facing some difficulty with the language, I was quite scared. I had my own inhibitions. And I was not an extrovert. Even now, I don't speak much. Only on YouTube or with camera, I'm quite comfortable. Otherwise, I have my boundaries. But of course, in the initial phase of my journey, I had my classmates who were really good with the language. I should say proficient. So they used to make fun, not because of the pronunciation, but because we were not able to convey. And there was a time when I was not able to go to the clinic. I was not able to tell the teacher that I'm having a cold. So I developed some sort of fever and I had to ask for permission. I had to get the permission from the class teacher to even go to the clinic, the school clinic. And I stayed the whole day because I couldn't communicate in English. And I went home back with 101, 102-degree fever. Just because I couldn't speak in English, I was scared to ask my classes. I was just in grade 2 or grade 3. So this is my problem. Of course, it was my problem. I cannot blame anyone for that. But English creates that fear, it created the fear in me as well. But I kept at it. And I didn't have people speaking in English at home saying, Rini, come on, speak in English. We want you to learn English. No, everybody spoke in my mother tongue. And even the community did not encourage English as such. But I got extra opportunities to speak in English because we had people from other parts of the country, other parts of the world also. So the only way in which you can communicate with your friends is by speaking in English or in Hindi. Okay, because Arabic was another academic subject. So we were not allowed to speak in Arabic, though we could, but we didn't know much about that. So that's one factor. Another thing is I kept at it. Like you asked me whether you had this in mind. I never thought that I was going to become an English trainer, or I never thought that I'm going to write books, and maybe people will connect with me. Everything happened by chance. And one thing that I want to tell you is it's maybe because of my ability. I feel it's because of my ability to observe minute details. Today also I could be making mistakes with language because it's not my native tongue. But I think I'm able to observe, contemplate, and then give the guidelines. I think that is what makes me a powerful trainer today. If the feedback given by my seniors is right, if it serves the purpose. That's one thing. And I've been always like this since childhood. There was a time when I didn't know grammar at all, anything at all. Now I'm not telling I'm proficient, but I have C2 proficiency because I did CELTA with a higher grade. I completed CELTA recently with a higher grade. So it is because of the authorities who gave me the feedback saying that, okay, you're proficient. So there was a time when I didn't know the difference between is, was, where. I couldn't pronounce it properly. And of course, people used to make fun because when you have a good atmosphere, when you have people speaking better than you, they will make fun. That's power, that's authority. You will be under pressure, not to do better, but to just dominate. But as I told you in the beginning, I kept at it, I kept working on it. I always filtered the negativity. I was a small child, but still I knew the difference between constructive criticism and destructive ones. Today we speak about it, but in those days, I didn't have any teachers telling me, Rini, that is destructive, this is constructive, or I didn't have teachers encouraging me. Because in the olden days, I don't even now this happens. Most of the time, people give preference to teachers' children. But I'm proud to tell that I was able to stand with them or I was able to compete with them because I kept at it. not because of my greatness or not because of anything that I have. It's only because of keeping at something, being passionate, the ability to understand where you have to work, where you have to keep working on, such kind of things. And regarding training, it just happened like that. I was encouraged by my professors, especially in writing, not in becoming a professor. I began my journey as an English professor, but to be very frank, I'm not happy with the structure. Some of the structures that's followed in the education system, I'm against it,
Yeah,
totally against,
yeah, I totally
especially,
agree. Totally agree.
yeah, so it's completely wrong. So I'm really grateful to the professors and some of the teachers, English teachers, who gave me the guideline. They told me you have to write because the way you write, it's good. But still, I scoffed it. To be very frank, to put it in a very blatant manner, I just gave one smirk saying, ma'am, sir, no, I can't write. I don't know anything about writing. Then I realized you don't have to know anything about writing. You just write. You begin. Just like begin speaking. Make mistakes shamelessly and then understand where you stand and then keep working at it. Everything took a different turn when we all were, under this pandemic, the effect of pandemic. I contracted COVID. I didn't have anything else to be done. And then I started writing. I began writing. And then, fortunately, the universe conspires when you have something in your mind. And there were a lot of publishing platforms that opened opportunities. And some of my friends forwarded the call for submissions. And it just happened like began sending my manuscript. I remember one of my short stories, poems, getting published on one Australian journal. So two of my poems, I think, yeah, two of them were. It's still there. It's still available on the internet. It got published on an Australian journal named The Font. So they selected it and it got published and then later by national platforms and such kind of things. It's not because I know everything about poems. It's not because I read a lot of poetry. It's not because I knew everything about writing. I didn't know anything. Even now, I don't know much. But I just began and think I'm able to connect with people because of listening, the power to listen, the power to contemplate and analyze. I think that's very important when it comes to a trainer and a learner. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, actually, ma'am, no doubt you have been a famous trainer on EnglishYaari. It is quite difficult to book your session, undoubtedly. You know,
Is it? I think all the trainers are busy here. Like all of them have a lot of slots.
no, ma'am,
Yeah.
I have checked. I have checked. Your session is quite difficult to be booked. Okay. So, ma'am, my
Okay.
next question is that as we are from India, you might have noticed we have given a lot of importance to this language. 90% people leave their journey when they are insulted, humiliated, criticized. In
Hmm.
order to overcome these problems, what would you like to suggest new learners? What they are
Okay.
supposed to do?
First thing is there are no new learners, fresh learners, and old learners. Keep learning. Whatever happens, keep learning. Okay. Even if you feel, I'm speaking about the worst scenario, even if the world falls down, it'll never happen. Keep learning, keep at it. Second thing is you said we give a lot of importance to English. That itself gives the answer. Don't be obsessed. Because today we have this toxic way of correcting each other. I can see even trainers to get more views, perhaps, I don't know, they correct each other. They have this toxic way of correcting each other through destructive criticism, perhaps. I'm not sure if the term is
Yeah, yeah.
right. But as trainers, as a teacher's trainer, also, I always ask my teachers to give constructive feedback. So always pay attention to constructive feedback, work on those areas where you really need to work on. Other things you can leave because otherwise you'll have time only to crib and feel bad, be emotional. Like, you know your journey. Like for you, you know your journey, the hardships that you face. I know my journey. I don't have to prove others. Whatever I know, I share through my YouTube channel and through my writings. And in your case, it's like connecting with students and through your YouTube channel and through other platforms. But don't be obsessed with this language. It's not our language, but you should be proud as Indians. We have got this culture of tolerating and also listening to other languages, accepting the other culture. When that is the case, we should be proud of being able to accommodate the language. We have got the passion. See, so many people want to learn English, not just because it's an international language or not because it's a global language. Just because I want to speak English, I want to connect with people. That's what you also told me. So this is not a
Yes.
native tongue, but we are taking so much of effort, and we are also, shelling out money. We are also putting in so much of energy connecting with people to learn a foreign language. And also, we have got something known as Indian English, and that cannot be underrated. People
Yeah.
underestimate it. We have Indian authors with such good language, rich language. Okay, they may not pronounce the words properly, but still so much of wisdom. Yeah. So whenever I listen to great legends like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, okay, actually we all miss him right now. So many personalities as such. They may not have the right pronunciation, the British accent, the American pronunciation, the British
Yeah.
pronunciation,
Yeah.
but words flow with wisdom. And that's not because he's famous. It's because of everything that he has gone through. So pronunciation, intonation, everything is important. Like when it comes to language learning, let's put people in the right track. But at the same time, embracing humanity, listening, contemplating, and also the ability to filter between things that you really want, prioritizing your day, prioritizing your needs, and then your wants is important. Otherwise, you will be washed away in this rat race. You will
So,
get washed
Rini
away,
ma'am,
no doubt.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rini ma'am, wherever I go, I raise this question: why do we use a language? What is the actual purpose of using a language? Suppose
Mhm.
that if somebody is crying, can he use correct pronunciation? If somebody is upset, can he use correct pronunciation, intonation? Only he can deliver his feelings,
Mhm.
emotions. He can
Communication.
convey his, yeah, he can convey his message effectively. This is the
Mhm.
purpose of a language. What do you think about it?
Okay, so this has got other underlying aspects. Like if you're used to English, you may just ask in a good way, or you may put it in a basic way, or an advanced level. It depends on how good or how comfortable. How comfortable, not good. There we cannot check the proficiency level. Suppose you're at a funeral, you cannot use flamboyant language, or you may not use. It's okay. You just have to console. And I feel language is also like how that the touch is also language. That's also
Yeah, absolutely.
communication. Now you touch the
Yeah,
person, you look into the eyes of the person. I understand what you're going through. Life is okay. That look, that can only be given by human beings. Even animals, the dog, the cat that you pet, otherwise also the other animals, the stray dogs. You feed it once, the look that it gives you the next day when you're sad, it can feel with you. The same thing, I think human beings also, yes, one thing that you told is right. That is, we communicate. We use a language to communicate. It depends on how comfortable you are with the language. You may not use the wrong pronunciation if you know something, in the sense, if you've been using it in that way. But otherwise, even if you don't have the right pronunciation, I think what matters is the non-verbal gesture, the communication aspect. You should know what to say, you can't use, suppose I'll give you a kind of situation where you're at a funeral, okay, where you just use flamboyant language and you could also end up disgracing, you could also end up insulting people. Oh, that person,
yeah,
he was meant to die. Don't worry.
yeah.
Is it okay? Is it okay? What not to worry? How can you say don't worry? Of course it is something that you have to empathize. So such kind of things,
Absolutely.
so even educated people can go to that extent. I knew everything. I knew what you were going to. See, it's the expression and the way you convey. So they could have put it in a better way, not like how I did it just now. They could have used Shakespearean language also, but what is the purpose? Even one look, okay, into the eyes, one pat, one hug, one feeling, the mourning aspect or whatever. You don't have to cry visibly. But I think that is important, Kaiser, more than any other thing. And of course, language is used for communication, but we need to convey
Actually,
this. We have to pass on this to the next generation. Yeah, please go on.
yeah,
Yeah.
most of the time I have noticed, Rini ma'am, when my mother gets angry, my father gets angry, They don't speak anything. They only stare at me. I get to know my mother is angry. She doesn't speak anything at all, even though
That's
I
powerful.
understand.
Yeah.
This is called language. Hmm? As
This is
far
also
as I'm concerned.
communication. Communication.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. What happened? Let me narrate you a small story, ma'am. Couple of years back, I had a conversation with a guy from the USA. Okay.
Okay.
Within a few seconds, he started abusing me. Who the hell are you? Don't you see your pronunciation? Don't you know how to speak in English language? Hmm? Stop learning English. You are completely worthless. You don't need to learn English. So I kept myself calm, cool, and asked him, brother, I will leave learning English. I will leave learning English. Just give me my answer. How many languages do you speak? So he told me I only speak English. So I answered him, we speak multiple languages. Okay, I am speaking broken English. Can you speak broken Hindi? The way I speak in English language, can you speak Hindi? Similar way? So he was completely shocked and disconnected my call. So
Oh,
we should be proud of ourselves. This is not our first language. We have been speaking a language since our birth. You know it very well that English has become global need. That's why we have to work on it. That's why we want to communicate with people as effective as possible.
yeah.
But in order to learn English, we cannot put our prestige on stake. If
Yeah.
somebody is making fun of us, if somebody is insulting us, this is his or her duty, not my duty. My duty is to get better every single day. When I
Exactly.
started my journey, ma'am, I told you that I didn't even know how to write. I didn't even know how to speak. But I
Yeah.
didn't stop my journey. I kept moving.
Mm.
I kept moving. I used to get insulted. I used to get humiliated. But I never ever thought of those people who were insulting me, humiliating me. I only focused on myself. I
Yeah.
set a goal. I kept pursuing my goal that where
Yeah.
I have to. Those people who were insulting me, who were humiliating me, they are still doing that thing. They are same place where they were. I was a learner. Right now, you can see I am a learner as well as trainer. I am running my own institute. I have got more than 50 students. So I have become a hero of some of my students. They like my way of teaching, the way I communicate, the way I make them understand. So I never ever give a lot of importance to English language. I know this is the language, this is our need. We have to improve ourselves as much as possible. That's what I'm doing.
Mm.
Suppose my pronunciation is not okay, my voice modulation is not okay. So I have to work on it. I cannot stop my journey that my pronunciation is not good. I will not speak. If I don't speak in English language, suppose that if I don't speak, how will you find out? I'm making pronunciation mistake. If I keep quiet,
Yeah.
I keep saying you, ma'am, I have pronunciation problem. I have pronunciation problem. I'm speaking nothing. How will you rectify that what
Exactly.
mistake I am doing?
Mm. Yeah.
This
True.
is what I always think, man.
Yes. So, as I told you just now, there are no freshers and old learners and new learners. Even native speakers make mistakes. I have come across them. And even they admit, true people, I mean, genuine trainers say, yes, we have our inhibitions. We also don't. We just speak. Just like how we speak in Hindi, they have their flow, but they have their problems also, issues with language. Language as part of, studies when it comes to the academics, so that's there always. But keeping that aside, it's always about how much you have progressed, not
Yeah,
about what you did earlier or what you really want. It's not the mega narrative. What are you today? I come across people who just have got time to ridicule others or to create that boundary, the facade. Okay, as it is called, the facade of language saying you speak better, I speak better. That's also prevalent among the trainers. That's what I told you. We cannot change that. So, as you said, you are a trainer now, but I think you're also human. You have
Yeah,
gone through something. Now, when we are non-English native speakers of English, we have gone through this evolution aspect. We have gone through the
absolutely.
difficulty of not knowing English, but the native speakers haven't gone through that. So I think we have got before and after, just like how you use a cream, before like this, after like this. So you've gone through the whole journey. Now you're able to guide the beginners, the people who face problems, and also who are proficient in the language. That's all, as simple as that. I cannot say it's
Yeah,
just a language, it's a rich language, it's a beautiful language, but people put horns on English, which is not right. English doesn't have, it has got no complex. The language itself has got no complex. It's a beautiful culture and proud to speak this language and also my own language. But the complexities, the unnecessary pride that gets acquainted, it's like it is getting, it's put on. That part is not right. And you know who's doing it? It's
yeah,
man made, not natural, never natural.
yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Okay. The
Yeah,
time flies when I speak to you. It was nice having a
absolutely, ma'am.
conversation with you.
Same here, ma'am. Same here. It is really worth having conversation with you, ma'am.
Thank you
Some
so
of
much.
my
Thanks a
questions
lot.
are left. I'm going to ask you in my next session.
Sure, 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 sure. I will give you what I can from my experience.
Okay.
Okay? Right.
Okay.
Bye.
Actually, the way you communicate, I really love it, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have
Bye.
a
Bye.
great day. Bye. Bye. Bye.
You too. Bye. Bye. Bye.